The evening air in the small town of Umogem was thick with tension as dark clouds gathered ominously above, mirroring the storm brewing in the heart of Okoye's family. Jenny, a bright-eyed first-year student, sat on the bed, her hands trembling as she held the small white stick that would forever change her life. It had been 2 weeks since the night of passion with Mark, a charming senior who had swept her off her feet. Now, staring at the unmistakable two pink lines, the reality of her situation began to sink in. "Jenny, are you okay?" Her younger brother Samuel knocked lightly on the door, his innocent thought passing through her thoughts. "Mom wants to know if you are joining us for dinner." "Yeah, I'll be there in a minute," she replied, her voice a mere whisper. She hastily shoved the pregnancy test under her pillow, her heart racing. Dinner was filled with usual laughter and chatter, but Jenny felt like an outsider in her own home. Her father, a stern yet loving man, was recounting tales of college days, pride illuminating his face as he spoke of Jenny's potentials. She forced a smile, but inside she was so bitter. Later that night, as she lay in her bed, she heard her phone buzz. It was Mark. "We need to talk. You can't keep the baby. It will ruin your life." Jenny, his words felt like daggers, sharp and cold. "I can't just end a life because of a mistake," she texted back to Mark, her heart pounding as she pressed the send button. The next morning, the sun rose, casting a warm glow through her window. Yet Jenny felt a chill in her bones. She knew she had to tell her parents. With each step down the hallway, her resolve wavered, but she steeled herself, determined to face the storm. "Dad, Mom, can we talk?" she said, with her voice trembling as she entered the living room. Their smiles faded as they sensed the weight of her words. "What is wrong, sweetheart?" her mother asked, concern etching her face. "I am pregnant." The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Her father's face paled, disbelief clouding his eyes. "What? How could you do this, Jenny?" "I love him, Dad. I love him." "No, you are throwing your future away," her father shouted, his voice rising in anger and fear. Before she could respond, he clutched his chest, his face contorting in pains. "Call 911," her mother screamed. But it was too late. The man who had always been her rock fell to the ground, lifeless. Days turned into a blur of grief and chaos. The funeral was a somber affair, the weight of Jenny's guilt suffocating her. Her mother's grief morphed into rage, and soon the house that once echoed with laughter became a prison of silence. "You have killed your father," the mother screamed during one of their heated arguments, her words slicing through Jenny's like a knife. "You are no daughter of mine." Disowned and alone, Jenny found herself drifting through life, her dreams shattered. She moved back to her university, the weight of her decisions pressing heavily on her chest. Every day was a battle against the whisper of shame that she felt. She sat in her room, staring at the small bump forming beneath her shirt. She couldn't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come. Mark had promised to support her, but his texts and messages had become fewer and more distant, leaving her to wonder just how deep the betrayal ran. With each passing day, the shadows of her choices loomed large, threatening to consume her. The storm was far from over, it was only just beginning. In the depth of despair, Jenny realized she had to make a choice. Would she fight for her child and herself, or let the shadows take control?